Well, a very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode of Perceptive Learning Zone. And today we basically conclude our thoughts on the domain of electrical engineering and shed light on some market data in recent times and forecasts and look at them to decide as to whether or not a degree in electrical engineering is worth it. So I would like to start off by delving into some findings that are mainly taken from the executive summary of an electrical engineering market report of 2025. So first of all, just to give you a bit of a background, my dear students, this report was created using data obtained from big data as well as AI-powered Stardust Insights Discovery platform. This platform now it covers more than 4.7 million global companies as well as more than 20,000 technologies and emerging trends. So also a sample of north of 1,550 electrical engineering startups was analyzed, and five examples are presented out of it that I'm going to be relaying in front of you in due time, God willing. So now, first of all, just to give you some statistics, the electrical engineering industry, despite experiencing a slight decline in the overall growth, it still continues to grow. So that is good for us. Now, the sector supports over 8,030 companies, including 1,556 startups, with contributions in electrification, power generation, as well as mechatronics. Now, the global workforce in the industry, it exceeds 510,000 people with an addition of over 25,000 employees in the last year. These are global trends, I'm telling you. Now, this growth, what I see is that it underscores the increasing demand for skilled professionals in electrical engineering applications across various sectors. So, how do we showcase innovation? That is a billion-dollar question. Well, innovation in the electrical engineering industry, it is showcased with more than 2,530 patents, as well as 330 grants being awarded globally. As far as patent issuance is concerned, you have Russia that takes the top spot, and it is followed closely by China. Now, the electrical engineering industry, it highlights a global reach, yeah, with key hubs in the USA, Germany, India, UK, and Canada. Sadly, Pakistan isn't there. Additionally, top cities like Singapore, Perth, Berlin, Melbourne, and London, they serve as critical centers, I would say, for innovation as well as growth in the sector. Um, Investment in the electrical engineering industry, it is standing strong with a total combined investment that is north of 236 billion US dollars. If I were to name some prominent investors, they include Owl Ventures, you got Galaxy Digital Holding, and you have BlockFi, all of which are contributing to the sector's innovation as well as expansion. Um, there are five innovative startups that I can name when it comes to electrical engineering, though there are so many, countless. I can't do justice by naming all of them. So I'm just going to do five, right? One is Xcimer Energy. That is basically an energy laser system. Then you have a startup by the name of Performance Interconnect that you can Google. It deals with electrical connector solutions. Then you have another one named CADY, CADY, CADY or CADY. You be the judge. It's all about automatic electrical schematic analysis. Then you have Selectric Biosciences. That is all about sepsis bioelectrical diagnosis. And another startup that comes in my mind that has garnered a lot of accolades in recent times is Skin Plastic Lab that revolves around the domain of nanotechnology based thermistors. Now, what are recommendations for stakeholders in this report? The investors, first of all, they should direct capital towards high growth areas like electrification, smart grid innovations, and next generation semiconductor technologies. So, scaling the research and development efforts, my dear students, in fields like quantum computing, energy efficient systems, as well as advanced robotics, well, this will help companies stay ahead of the competition. Also, creating disruptive technologies that integrate AI, IoT, and renewable energy systems. Well, this will lead to smarter and more pragmatic electrical solutions. So, once again, I want to say that the Electrical Engineering Market Report 2025 that I've just stated, its facts basically, it uses data from the Discovery platform and it encapsulates, right, the key metrics that underline the sector's dynamic growth and innovation. So the heat map presented, it highlights, some very key insights from the database. But once again, which contains over 8,000 companies, which includes more than 1,500 startups. So it was noticed that industry growth experienced a decline of negative 3.73% in the last year, despite significant innovation, as we just talked about, more than 300 grants, more than 2,500 patents being awarded globally. So, what data is being used to create this electrical engineering report? That is the main question, right? How do we know it's legit? How do we know it's authentic and not some hocus pocus thrown on the web by some random scam artist sitting in his mama's basement? So, based on the data provided by Discovery Platform, we observed that the electrical engineering industry ranks among the top 5% in the following categories relative to all 20,000 topics in the database. So these categories, what we see, ladies and gentlemen, is that they provide a comprehensive overview of the industry's key metrics and inform the short-term future direction of the electrical engineering industry. Yes. So as far as the contents are concerned, right, more than 6,000 news articles were published about the electrical engineering industry in the last year. As far as we talk about funding rounds, the sector has also stood out in funding rounds. That's the amazing thing. Yeah. There were more than 380 rounds recorded in the database. If you ask me about manpower, I've already said there are more than 510,000 workers globally. We've talked about grants, we've talked about patents, right? Also, if you talk about the global search growth, number of people who are doing research on this field online, there is a yearly global search growth of 10.59%, which is a pretty decent statistic, right? So, investment activity right now, it is standing with an average funding round valued at 16.6 million US dollars. So this data, it underscores the innovative potential of the electrical engineering industry, even with a slight growth downturn overall speaking. Now, the question that you would be asking at this stage is that, Hamza, who is investing in electrical engineering solutions? So, as I said before, ladies and gentlemen, the combined investment value by the top investors in the electrical engineering industry, it exceeds 236 billion US dollars. This basically is reflecting our financial support for innovation and growth within the sector. So if you ask me about some top investors and the invested values and the number of companies they've backed, so Owl Ventures, it invested US $130 million in at least one company. You had Galaxy Digital Holding. I'm giving you a global picture right now. You have Galaxy Digital Holding, which spread investments across 10 companies totaling 50 million US dollars. You have Renovare Environmental, which invested 20 million US dollars in at least one company. You have Thomson Medical that is investing 19 million US dollars in at least one company. And once again, there's a investor by the name of Jungle Ventures that invested 7 million US dollars once again in at least one company, right? So the electrification trend, as I said, it includes 5,000 companies. It is employing more than 710,000 individuals globally. And in the last year, the sector saw an influx of 41,000 new employees, which reflects its growing influence and demand. I'm talking about the electrification sector. Now, the annual trend growth rate of 10.72%, it signifies momentum in industries that is now transitioning towards the direction of electric power sources. Similarly, if you ask me about the power generation trend, so we feel that the power generation trend is supported by approximately 8,000 companies worldwide that are employing a total of around about 1 million individuals. Last year, this power generation industry, my dear students, it added more than 48,000 new employees. It has an annual trend growth rate of 2.45%. And this trend basically showcases advancements in renewable energy, such as solar, such as wind, and ongoing developments and revolutions and optimizations in the traditional energy generation methods. And last but not least, if we talk about the mechatronics trend, it includes around roughly 2,000 companies with a total of 246,000 employees. In the last year, you had 12,000 new employees that joined the mechatronics sector, hence showcasing an annual trend growth rate of 9.20%. So now I would quickly like to talk about the key performance initiatives of 5 startups that are singled out of a list of so many startups, and so that you get an idea that tomorrow, after spending a decent amount of time in the field with your degree, if you were to sort of gravitate towards launching a startup, what could be some cool themes that would be worth your while? So I would like to talk about Xcimer Energy, Xcimer. So it is a US-based startup that is, extending the inertial fusion energy to commercial deployment using advanced laser-driven technology. Now, the startup, my dear folks, it utilizes a gas laser architecture in order to reduce laser costs per joule. So its high energy laser system is basically supporting the ignition of larger fuel capsules for high energy gains. Now, this laser system, it's important to note that it operates at lower repetition rates in order to simplify engineering, in order to cut down the capsule fabrication expenses that are basically accrued in the process. Additionally, Xcimer, it implements a liquid lithium salt to protect chamber walls from fusion neutrons, to minimize maintenance speeds, as well as to reduce waste production. Then you have another startup by the name of Performance INTERCONNECT, which I just mentioned previously. And I've said it provides electrical connector solutions. So it uses, slide fit electrical contact termination technology. It is a solderless termination method, beg your pardon, to eliminate specialized tools, insertion force, as well as component inspection. Now, this technology, it achieves gas-tight interfaces between connector contacts and printed circuit boards to enhance reliability as well as efficiency. Now, additionally, the Hyperbits technology, it offers a direct blind mating, high data rate connector tailored for space flight applications. Now, this approach, it allows for lower component and assembly costs while ensuring competitive lead times and reliable performance. Next up, there's an Israeli startup by the name of CADY, CADY, which is offering automated electrical schematic analysis. So basically, quintessentially speaking, it leverages data sheet information in order to provide automatic electrical schematic analysis. Now, this system, my dear viewers, it is performing deep voltage analysis in order to identify supply voltage violations as well as voltage calculation mismatches for enhanced reliability. KD also offers communication protocol validation in order to detect potential mix-ups as well as connector misapplications. Furthermore, it checks connection instructions to ensure compliance with the datasheet guidelines, to prevent floating logic pins, to prevent passive component misapplications. Now, also additionally, last but not least, it includes alerts for ambient operating temperature ranges and supply chain availability in order to ensure long-term viability, right? And then we have another, last but not least, I talked about one more startup by the name of what was its name? Yeah, Selectric Biosciences. So let's just do a quick discussion of this as well. This is an Australian startup, first of all. Difficult to spell, but hopefully you'll figure it out. It manipulates electrodynamic cells to interact with the electrophysical fingerprint of cells for the purpose of achieving cellular control. Now, the startup platform, my dear students, it utilizes its proprietary electron technology, which translates electrical signals into pure electrodynamic field effects without passing current through the samples. Now, this approach, it ensures unmatched cell selectivity and manipulates only targeted cells while avoiding unwanted electrochemical reactions. Now, Selectric's technology, it operates in a flow-through manner to provide an immediate cellular response. Moreover, by insulating electrodes with a patented dielectric material, what happens is that it filters out electric and ionic currents for clear signals and influences cell division, molecular transfer, as well as cellular differentiation. So I know there's a lot of stuff for you to process. Hopefully, you watch it in turns and various rounds. But last but not least, right, I feel like we have all talked about the number game and stuff. We've talked about emerging initiatives and we've talked about the global scope, the trends and everything. So yes, ultimately my verdict is going to be that a degree in electrical engineering is worth it, right? But just make sure you put in the hard yards. The typical country initiative that the typical Pakistani mentality that we have, okay, got the degree now, you just sit on the backside and wait for someone to throw a job at you, right? You got to put in a lot more effort than that. You need to make sure you got your certifications, you got your, skills and everything. You drive for conference papers, publications, go on seminars, do your networking. Consider the prospect of doing a, additional degree like a master's or a PhD, and just try to get experience. Nowadays, a lot of people they say straight after graduation that Hamza, I want to launch a startup, and I just say to them that successful startups, they require experience. So first 5, 10, 15 years, be prepared for the fact that you're going to have to work in the industry, which may not be your cup of tea, but then again, that's where you come out of your comfort zone. That's where you learn. That's where you grow. And then hopefully, God willing, in a few decades or in a handful of years, you have the manpower, you have the physical resources to launch a startup and pursue your passion, God willing. So just an icing on the cake, as our usual drill is, whenever we wind up any discussion in any department. So I just have a couple of success stories for those of you who are aspiring to become electrical engineers. So let's discuss one success story from Pakistan and one abroad, starting with the one from our country. So, ladies and gentlemen, you might be aware of Dr. Samar Mubarakmand. Basically, he was born in Lahore in Pakistan in 1942. And he is a renowned electrical engineer as well as a nuclear physicist who has left an absolutely indelible mark on Pakistan's technological landscape. Now, after earning his degree in electrical engineering from Government College Lahore, he pursued a PhD in experimental nuclear physics at the University of Oxford. As a key figure in Pakistan's nuclear program, he led the team that was responsible for the country's first nuclear tests in May 1998. And basically, in the process, he and his team, they demonstrated, they reflected advanced capabilities of the country in nuclear as well as electrical engineering. Now, Dr. Mubarakmand also contributed to groundbreaking initiatives such as developing control mechanisms for nuclear reactors, spearheading Pakistan's first underground coal gasification project in Parker for the purpose of converting coal into clean fuel. Now, recognized with prestigious awards like the Nishane Imtiaz and Sitara Imtiaz, his journey basically epitomizes the transformative power of education and dedication in achieving national milestones. So his achievements, which made Pakistan the seventh nuclear power globally, continues to inspire a generation of engineers, including myself. And finally, one foreign success story I would like to talk about, Nikola Tesla, who was born in 1856 in Smiljan, Croatia. He is obviously one of history's most celebrated electrical engineers as well as inventors. Now, Tesla's passion for physics and mathematics, it basically drove him to study electrical engineering at the Australian Polytechnic in Graz, as well as afterwards at the Charles Ferdinand University in Prague. Now, Mr. Tesla, he revolutionized the energy sector with his invention of the alternating current system. The AC system, as you know, my dear students, this is the backbone of modern electricity distribution. So, among his numerous innovations, you have the Tesla coil, which remains extremely foundational in wireless communication and electronics. Also, Nikola Tesla's pioneering work on wireless energy transmission as well as radio technology, it has profoundly and deeply influenced the telecommunication sector. And despite facing financial challenges, not to mention skepticism, Tesla has secured over 300 patents and has fundamentally shaped modern engineering and physics. So his visionary ideas, his resilience, Tesla's unwavering dedication, right? They exemplify how when electrical engineers work and change the world, inspiring countless professionals to pursue breakthroughs in technology. And after all, that's what I always say as a teacher myself, that effective teaching or even effective engineering for that matter is less about giving the right answers and more about encouraging future generations to ask the right questions. And once again, like Einstein said, not everything that counts can be counted, and not everything that counts really counts. That'll be it for now, fellas. We'll be back soon with discussion on other spectrums. Hopefully, you learn a thing or two out of it. Once again, please do not hesitate. This is me now bringing on my beggar mode, right? Please do not hesitate to like, share, and subscribe, and feel free to reach out in the comment section in case you got any queries. Thank you very much. God be with all of you and stay blessed, my dear ladies and gentlemen and honorable viewers. Assalamu alaikum.